Okay. I had music playing. I had music playing. I couldn't hear it. The fader has to be up. Today, we got a few things to talk about. It's November 1st. We're talking about things that are not so bad. Tesla's win in court and a homeschooler takeover. Yes, I said homeschooler takeover.
Let's go. We'll talk through that one.
That actually, I realized that phrase, homeschooler takeover, probably elicits a very
there's like a like everybody's.
There's probably a barrage. You know, when you see a zombies takeover, it's like a homeschool takeover. You see a lot of prairie dresses. You see a lot of barefoot kids.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna change that. We're all about changing perceptions around.
That's
here.
amazing. Hey, last night, so the little thing around Halloween, just real quick, and it's not about like what we did. This. We had a ton of fun. We go out in the neighborhood. That type of thing.
Dailies were home because 3 of them were sick.
Oh no, yeah. So we had a ton of fun. The kids were out, baby was out, the whole 9 yards. But I'm scrolling Instagram, just like winding down at the night, like we all do. And my buddy has shared a little thing that was like, all parents, please, let's stop talking about the tax on goods, like the parent tax, right? And I was like, where is this going? Like, are you just mad at people talking about this? Because I talk about it all the time. And they were like, no. This is a dictatorship. You will get what you deserve. You will only get the food rations of the candy that you deserve, and I get the top. I was like, whoa, that's perfect.
Whoa,
whoa. Parents just saying this is all my candy. I was like, whoa. Come on.
It was real fun to just see all the pictures, as it always is, and people texting pictures. Matt Lasher's family, they had the Super Mario Brother theme going, which was fantastic. We had Mario, Luigi, Princess Toadstool. It was good stuff. But it is November 1st now, and I woke up to snow. I wasn't really expecting it.
I mean, I woke up to 31 degrees. So
if there was some wouldn't that be crazy? It could have snowed in Nashville easily. And we're about that same temperature. You walk outside, it's not like biting cold, but it's like the most pleasant snow you're ever going to see.
Right.
Everything's clean. It is slow falling, big flakes. I'm like, this is what I love. Yeah, I'm going to hate it in 90 days. Because I'll go 90 days and be like, yeah, I can take this. But like February, March, some of April, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out.
But the good news is in just the next 2 weeks, you get to be in some nice, warm, sunny weather. We are headed to Used Car Week next week in Scottsdale.
It's my first time. Have you ever been there?
I've never been there. It's going to be great. And they are saying like it's their record attendance this year as well, which is really, really cool.
Those two aren't connected, by the way.
Right.
That we know of. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Who knows? And then the next week we'll be at Modern Retail Conference, the Pass Group conference that is in Florida. So we're excited to be in some sunny weather, coming from the cold and connecting with dealers and industry partners and OEM reps, because conversations are what drive our industry forward. So that's why we always love being in the dirt at those events.
I know. Can't wait for that. Also, morethancars.tv episode 2 is been officially launched. You can see it for free, as well as the pilot episode. If you don't know what that is, it's actually our TV style docuseries where Kyle and I travel around to dealerships across the country and we tell the inspiring stories, and we happen to start competing on a few different things. I'll let you know who wins or not. Well, there's more episodes coming. We eat hot wings in Buffalo. We try to do all the things and make it fun, but guaranteed every time we've screened this, and now we've probably in person have screened it in front of over 1,000 people collectively. There are tears, there are laughs, there are incredible sentiments shared, and I think you'll really enjoy it. We made this for you, and it's just a great thing to show in a morning sales meeting.
There you go. Yeah,
it really is. Really, check it out. Morethancars.tv. If we can help you, we can. Speaking of helping,
the morning meeting,
I'm trying to find the right segue button.
It's not a segue. We were so good yesterday. It was so good yesterday.
All right, we'll come through for you if you're on the live stream. We got to come for you. So check this out. The UAW simultaneous strike against the Big Three initially stirred fears of some colossal financial damage for the Big Three, but as the dust settles, maybe the dust is settling, early indicators show that the $2.9 billion loss seems more manageable then critical. The UAW's 146,000 members have secured a 25% wage increase, and sometimes more when you factor in cost of living, some additional benefits. Ford is facing, and we heard about this, talked about this a little bit yesterday, an additional increase of $850 to $900 cost per vehicle, which you know where that's ending up. On the sticker.
Oh, so on that sticker.
Along with Stellantis and GM, plans to find more efficiencies and balance the escalated costs obviously are ongoing. But so Stellantis seemed to weather the strike better than Ford and GM. They had $3 billion in lost revenue, but only 800 million in lost profits. So basically, investors on all three initially panicked. We saw $40 billion in market cap go away from GM and Ford's value. But S&P recently upgraded Ford's credit rating, which is kind of a little bit of a silver lining. Chris McNally, an analyst with Evercore ISI, optimistically noted, we believe that GM should be able to offset most of the UAW-driven increased wages. They should be able to stave that off.
Yeah, so early on, there were a lot of people talking about anywhere between a $5 and $8 billion impact to these OEMs from a revenue perspective. And so to only see 2.9 billion is great. The other point of this, and we saw this through the articles and through some of the stuff that was coming out of these manufacturers, is they weren't just cutting the people costs because they were having to let some people go at these factories, but they were also looking to reduce costs across manufacturing, across marketing, and making sure that their expenses were in line as they moved to be able to
be more efficient,
and be more efficient as they move to increase these wages. So it seems like the balance that Wall Street is saying that there's going to be balance there. I also think that some of the change in the way that analysts are looking at and the way that S&P is looking at the credit rating may be also due to the decrease focused on the EV outlook.
Without a doubt. I mean, they say never waste a good crisis. And I think I think specifically Ford and GM use this situation as a major pass to be able to say we're cutting way back on this, because if all of this EV, like the reality setting in, the drop in consumer demand in a non-strike period, they would be facing some very specific heat over this. But I think they pretty masterfully use this situation to scale back on that. And I think Wall Street's reacting to that. And I think the CFO is like, thank you.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Speaking of breathing sighs of relief.
Segue.
Big sigh of relief.
We'll take that. We'll take that segue.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
In a landmark decision, Tesla triumphed in its first U.S. trial concerning a fatality and autopilot. In the verdict favoring Tesla, it's underscoring a pivotal point that despite technological advancements, the responsibility of road safety ultimately rests on the driver. So the case was revolving around a 2019 incident where a Model 3 veered off the road, resulting in a fatality and some severe injuries to the passengers. The jury, after 4 days of deliberation, which is pretty long, concluded 9-3 that there was no manufacturing defect in the vehicle. Tesla maintained that the driver was under the influence of alcohol at the time, and it was unclear if autopilot was even activated during the crash. Jonathan Michaels, representing the plaintiff, said the jury's prolonged deliberations suggest the verdict still casts a shadow of uncertainty. Tesla said the jury's conclusion was the right one.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla is going to hang their hat on this, and so is like everyone that's looking at autopilot. There's still a lot of uncertainty because of the driver being under the influence. Like it wasn't the like the cut and dry case around autopilot where everything seemed to be, where like it was clear autopilot was on. It was clear the driver wasn't inebriated, right? All of those things I think are still to be determined, but the more and more we go down this path, it's going to set more and more of a precedent. And this is the one big thing that we've been looking at regulators to really understand, like, where does the onus fall? Is it on the manufacturer that drove all those? And this doesn't just land on Tesla right now, because there are autopilot functions and features.
That, Super Cruise, they are all the stuff.
Right. Though there are, and like recently Cruise had their license revoked in a couple cities. So they can't like do autonomous delivery of stuff. So there's a lot of impact to not just like full autonomous driving, but also things like radar cruise control and other things that take the ownership of driving at the manufacturer level. And so I'm interested to see like, what are the next ones? What does this line up after that? But Tesla, I'm sure, is just gonna like, they're just gonna continually like make big arrows back to this one.
No doubt. Hey, has Cruise been revoked in Phoenix? Because we were planning on doing that. Or no, was it Waymo? That was Waymo.
Waymo is Phoenix. So we're still we got a week away from doing the Waymo.
Okay, yeah.
Just like
podcast from a Waymo coming your way.
Yeah. We got look at Nathan. He's typing stuff in our show notes. He just stopped at Cruise. Cruise has ceased operations due to type faster.
I love it. So this is real-time updates from our producer Nathan, who always makes sure the show is on point, and now he's listening and he's like, wait, let me get you two jokers in line. And now that there's pressure on him, you know how hard it is to type when someone's watching you.
Yeah, due to issues related to crashes. It was in San Francisco, right? So they had their their license revoked to do the autonomous driving in San Francisco. They've ceased operations everywhere due to San Francisco. Wow, that's even bigger. I didn't know the everywhere. Maybe we'll find that story, go a little bit deeper on it tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good. Speaking of learning things,
segue
time. As evidenced by yours truly, homeschooling is experiencing a historic surge in the U.S. This trend transcends the common stereotypes of homeschooling, attracting a new, diverse set of families for a variety of reasons. The reasons that are cited in the study noted that there may be dissatisfaction with traditional schooling, looking for a more value-aligned education for their children. Typically, historically, homeschooling has been reserved for a niche of religious families, but it's becoming more mainstream, seeing a 51% increase in the number of homeschooled children compared to the 2017 to 2018 period. That's a ton, like 50% of the previous high. And it now includes more children than Catholic school. So that's just like one segment of private schooling, but then Catholic school. Mm-hmm. That's huge. Some of the other concerns that parents cited, they want to cater to their children's unique needs, avoid bullying, and ensure curriculum aligns with their specific values. I'll say this, like just anecdotally, we moved to homeschooling this year in our house, and we're loving every minute of it. Like we're 2.5 months in, I think, and our kids are enjoying it. But the one thing, from that I think is still the big question mark is like, can all of these new parents that are entering homeschool, like, are they well equipped to train at the level and to guide at the level that the school teachers are that have been educated on teaching? So that's kind of like the outstanding, like what's the impact 5-7 years down the line from now?
Yeah. And if I'm an educator and I went to school to be a teacher and an educator, of course, that's my concern, right?
Yep,
because absolutely. I learned that there's one way to do it. It's this way.
Yep.
There's also a lot of emerging industry bouncing up, right? The entrepreneurs are stepping up, the innovators are stepping up, and now there are all these platforms available that were never available to homeschoolers. One is called OutSchool, companies like Prenda that actually facilitate, they call them micro schools. So you can have 5 to 20 students that kind of get together with a certified instructor. So a lot of things, right? Innovation's pushing this growth. The reason I think this ties back to our industry, we're seeing an emergence of a lot of an entrepreneurial mentality when it comes to raising your family. Auto industry, lots of family business, a lot of industry partners too, small companies that sprung up to serve a need in automotive that have now with this remote work that is available. A lot of industry partners now are deploying remote work. There is just a greater intentionality that can happen at home. And what that means is that these people who are just naturally geared toward learning, growing, developing, educating, are now, we're seeing them bring their families into the mix. We're seeing more families around stores. We're seeing more families around industry partners. We've been homeschooling for our oldest Miles, who works for Sodu. He's 17. He's gone through start to finish. We never homeschooled before. All of our other kids homeschool. And I'll tell you what, it is amazing to bring our children into the entrepreneurial world. Nathan's typing show notes and he's homeschooled too, all 12 years. Oh, you didn't know this. You didn't know this. But the bottom line is this is an opportunity, I think, for the auto industry to bring the next generation along in a deeper way if you can, right? Everyone can homeschool. It's complicated. It's a lot of work. But I think the next generation of automotive, I think there's gonna be a very high percentage that were homeschooled. That's just my.
I agree. And then the other tie down to this is look at these companies like OutSchool and Prenda that are taking market opportunity as entrepreneurs and going, this is a new market segment that's rapidly growing. How can I serve that segment? And I think that auto dealers would do well to look at what are the rapidly growing segments that are parallel verticals to auto and how can they serve that industry well.
That's great, man. I like November 1st. It feels good. November feels good already. Whatever you're doing today, go out there. If it's snowing, enjoy the snow. If it's not, enjoy the sun. Whatever you do, love a few people, sell a few cars, make a little bit of money.